Hello everyone, it's Red with RedDragonLeo.com. It is April the 2nd, 2010, and we've got a lot going on here in the behind the scenes movement here with the good guys inside the Pentagon. There has been some major changes going on, which explains why all of these gangsters are fleeing and leaving their corporate jobs in masses worldwide. The last update by this American Kabuki site here shows 450 of them, and it's more than that now. That was as of 3/15/2012. So this list is old. They are actually up in the thousands worldwide, according to Benjamin Fulford and some other sources. The actual number of them, we scroll down here to the post, it is let's see, I can't remember now. It was over 1,000, of which 200 or more were arrested last week alone. So there's a lot going on. Now I'm going to try to tell you the reason here to explain why these people are leaving, but it has to do, basically, here it is, 450 resigned last week alone, and there were 200 of them arrested, senior bankers arrested, and there were 450 of them resigned last week. Okay, you can go to this site here and you can actually see it is mainstream news now. This is on MSNBC, as you can see here, the actual link, and it is this guy here, a major developer there, was arrested, and their stock fell, I don't know, 4.9 billion in one day. So it's starting to come out in the mainstream. I know it's going to take a while before we hear about Bush and Bill Gates. So before they're, old Daddy Bush there and Bill Gates. So I decided I'd make you this nice little picture here so that you guys would enjoy that, because this is where they're at right now. I couldn't resist, along with Timothy Geithner here, so I couldn't resist in making this picture. And this is where these gangsters belong, and there'll be more following them. Supposedly there's only about 6,000 or so of these cabal members, these Illuminati cabal members and their minions, but they are quitting worldwide, and the reason for it is because of a guy named Drake who explains it all in this interview with David Wilcox. It basically starts off that Drake is someone who knows about the law and how to fill out the proper paperwork to declare your piece of land a sovereign, independent a nation state. So what had happened was he has been working on this hard, studying this for the last 2.5 years, but he was actually introduced to it way back in 1979 when some people that were going to actually stage a military coup and overthrow the cabal back then in the government decided against it, but they brought him in and let him spend 5 or 6 hours sitting down reading a 5-inch thick stack of documents which talked about the legal law and how you can fill out the proper paperwork to basically remove yourself from the United States Corporation. So to put this simply, the United States Corporation is owned by the Illuminati cabal members. This is Bush and Clinton and J.P. Morgan family and Rockefeller family and Henry Kissinger and the Warburg family and the Cheney family. These are your typical gangsters that we all know about, that I've said so many times that should be arrested and hung publicly. That would be nice. So they have been basically putting the United States corporation in debt to the tune of trillions of dollars, and they're doing this through the buyouts of the banks and the Freddie Mac and Freddie Mae. So they have passed all the debts on to the U.S. corporation, which is basically means that the people are now responsible for paying this debt. Well, back to Drake. What had happened was Drake called in to a radio station that was talking about how to beat a traffic ticket and how to beat your way out of debts in court, and this host was telling a lot of inaccurate information that was not all correct, and he called in frustration and wanted to speak with the host and correct him and say, look, this is not the way you do it. You're going to end up in jail. You're telling people to do the wrong thing. You don't fight the judge. You get the judge to obey the law, and you just explain to him what the law is. And so anyway, he goes on to explain how you can fill out the proper paperwork to declare yourself a sovereign nation state. Coincidentally, there was a representative of the state of Pennsylvania that was obviously working in some capacity in the government and was probably a legal, very knowledgeable in the legal law. Whether he was a lawyer or not is unknown. But this person listened in on this interview and actually took the notes and went to the higher up in the state of Pennsylvania, filled out the paperwork, and sent this paperwork over to the International Court of Hague, I believe. I'm sorry, of Hague, International Court of Hague. And you can read all about this, how it's done. You can watch this 3-hour video here if it's an audio interview. And basically, the paperwork was accepted, and it was basically a process of notification where you would simply take an ad out in a magazine, or in this case an international worldwide newspaper. Essentially is what you're doing when you're actually sending off the paperwork. You're doing what they call a process of notification, and it basically tells the world that Pennsylvania is now an independent nation state, free of the corporation, the United States corporation. Now, what this did was freed them from their debts that the United States corporation owed. Now, the Pentagon got word of this. The good guys in the Pentagon got word of this and made a call over to the International Court of Hague, which is obviously just, some clerk assistant there that took the paperwork and just filed it. That's all. And they asked them if you could duplicate that process, because the Pentagon wanted these states to be free and wants to back the American people, but cannot do it legally. They have to back the ruling body of government in the United States, and that currently has been the United States Corporation, which is owned and controlled by these gangsters, the Rockefellers, and the these Illuminati cabal members, the Bushes, and so they have been following orders and the Constitution, and it says that you're to obey the law and follow the ruling body of the United States, and that has been the United States Corporation. Well, they're sick and tired of it. They're sick and tired of going over there starting fake wars and killing innocent people. So they fully support this effort to free Pennsylvania and every other state. So they actually contacted Drake, who assisted them in putting together all this paperwork for many other states. He did not say how many states, but it is now a majority of the states who have now filed this proper paperwork to declare themselves an independent nation state, free of the debts of the United States Corporation owned by these gangsters. This is extremely important, because now these states make up the majority and now represent what the majority of the people of the United States want done. So therefore, the military can now listen to the new ruling body, which is these United States that have filled these paperwork out and become independent sovereign nation. So they no longer have to listen to the U.S. corporation. They're now listening to the states. It is legal. So now what the military is able to do is follow the will of the people and what the states instruct them to do. And that means that they are now going to go out and do mass arrest in the United States. They've got a time frame set up in the future. We don't know when. It could be in a few weeks, could be in a few months. I don't know when. There's going to be a 72-hour, as much as a 72-hour shutdown. The international, or I'm sorry, the borders and all the satellite communication will be shut down. There'll be no air traffic. They're not going to let these gangsters escape. They are going to go and get them. Now, they cannot legally go into people's houses and arrest them. They did not want to do that. They have been bucking this system, everything that these gangsters have been telling them, trying to start World War III. They do not want this to happen. So they do not want martial law. They do not want to invade people's homes. That's not the plan. They want this done legally. And the legal procedures say that the people tell the states what they want done. The states basically tell the military to carry out the action. The military then tells the U.S. Marshal's office and instructs them to go to the local sheriff's office in each and every city and town in the United States where these gangsters are residing and arrest them. This is what's going to happen. It's going to be mass arrest. The military will be there only to back up the U.S. Marshals and the local police department and the sheriffs should it get ugly and some of these gangsters try to blow up buildings or to destroy evidence on their way out. So this is huge, folks. This is freedom. This is what we've been waiting for. This is everything that we have been hoping for. It means basically that we're going to have the golden age, exactly what has been foretold. So they're going to release all this technology. It's going to come. Okay, so it's very much worth your time to listen to the entire interview or just read the notes that I've had. I pretty much covered most everything, but you can listen in at about. He also talks about the stock market and the dollar will crash. He didn't really say the words crash, but the dollar is going to go out. This guy Drake mentions that it's going to take about 2 weeks after the euro crashes before it hits America. This lines up with what Lindsey Williams says. So the only thing we know for sure is that the dollar will be replaced by a new currency, and hopefully a treasury dollar. And this will be a good thing as these mass arrests go on. So as far as the stock market, they have $10 trillion in private funds set aside to support the market at some point. Now, I don't know how far they're going to let it collapse before they feel that all the derivatives are gone and that it's cleaned out the system, but at some point they're going to come in and support the market. So I wouldn't really be looking as much for the market to crash, although I do think it's going to go down big, but it might not be the 1929 thing that we all think is going to happen. So, but certainly the dollar will be your best short, in my opinion. So once the euro collapses and the dollar spikes up for a week or two, after that week or two, that's the time I think to short it and go from there. So there's a lot going on here in this post. It took me all day Sunday to write this, and now I'm just now getting around to doing the video because I was having issues with audio problems, so I'm back to using the old camera microphone, which doesn't sound that good, picks up background noise, but hopefully I'll have a new mic fixed soon. But hope you love this picture I edited for you. But anyway, I'm out of time, so just take your time and read and listen to this. It is worth your time, folks. So good things are happening. I'm really looking forward to this. Good luck, everyone.